Hello friends, welcome back to another training vlog. It's so good to see you again. Let's talk about week 3, day 2 of the Calgary Barbell Power Building 2 Phase 2. What a mouthful. Let's get into the training. This week, we are starting off with some deadlifts. If you watched the previous week, you know that the reason that I like this power building style, specifically the Calgary Barbell Power Building style, is that they include singles on top of your volume work. As I'm getting ready for competition, March 30th, I really wanted to involve singles. So I sought out a program, maybe, that was going to include singles, but was also going to give me a volume base that would help me make some gains, build some tissue, maybe. All that to say, this is why I really like this program. So our main work today is going to be a top single on the deadlift and then a top set of 6. It's a really interesting way to do things. I really like it. Includes the singles in there. So here's some warm-ups. The way that I normally warm up for any of my big lifts is starting with bigger jumps, plate by plate by plate, and then we go smaller as we get closer. With deadlifts and squats, I like to take anywhere between a 25 and 40 pound jump. Sometimes I'll take bigger jumps if I'm feeling good and I don't want to over fatigue myself. One of the main things that I see in terms of issues with warm-ups for people who are newer to the sport or people who have never really thought about what a good warm-up is, a warm-up is only there to get you ready to express the most strength on your top set or single or whatever it is, to keep you prepared and ready as you go in. You want to be as safe as possible and as ready as possible. That's the only thing you need a warm-up for. So there's not a specific number of warm-ups that you need to take. There's not a specific jump that you need to take. You have to do some experimenting. And through my training over the past 4 years, I have found this style works pretty well for me. So my deadlift is pretty all over the place. Unfortunately, I haven't really found that groove with the sumo technique yet. I did a block of about 6 months of conventional deadlift to try and build some strength in that, which has definitely carried over to the sumo deadlift, but I haven't really found that groove of technique yet. So the week prior to this, I actually hit 255 for my single. But on the warm-ups, I felt like it just was not there that day. I also smashed my thumb in between 2 plates, and I usually pull hook grip. So I had to switch to the straps, which sets my levers a little bit differently. It may have gotten in my head a little bit. So we called it at 240, still a decent lift here, but we've got one more week to really try and push. I want to finish around 260 in this block, which is really going to set me up for some good work to be done during my actual meet prep. Anyway, 240 went well, and then we moved on to the next lift of the day, which was close grip bench press. Now, the close grip protocol and the protocol for a couple of these accessory lifts on this program is something called underwater sets. So you do your top set at a specific weight. You usually reduce your weight by about 5 to 10%, and then you do sets every minute trying to get back to a certain RPE. So for this week, we did our top set at 122.5 on close grip, which is, pretty good. I'm not a great close grip bench presser, but it seems to be carrying over really well to my main move, so I really like close grip bench press. It's done pretty well for me. I am feeling a little bit of pain in the elbow, which is par for the course as I get deeper and deeper into a training block. Just the amount of squats, low bar squats that I'm doing, and the amount of benching that I'm doing really builds up a lot of fatigue in my elbows. So nothing to be super concerned with. Usually after a deload, all that fatigue kind of gets flushed away and we start fresh. Top set went really well, and then we're into the every minute on the minute. I only recorded 1 because I didn't want to keep getting up and recording the videos and all that jazz, but we did 3 sets to get us back to an RPE 8 with 110 kilos. So pretty solid work. And we finished off with some back accessories. Like I said, I'm not really filming the accessories. If that's something that you want me to do as we get more towards meet prep, I might be able to do that because the meet prep program that I'm using is very, very, very pared down. As we get to those vlogs, you will see we're talking 3 exercises a day, 4 exercises a day. It is really just powerlifting competition is coming up. Time to do the powerlifting moves and some ancillary moves that are going to prop up those powerlifting moves as well. And now let's get to the reason that you all are here, and that is my thoughts on whether or not sumo deadlifting is cheating. With these vlogs, I do want to hit on some topics that will probably help you navigate the way through the powerlifting world, and this is a big one. I cannot think of one that more 20-year-olds fight over on Instagram. Is sumo deadlifting cheating? No. By the definition of the powerlifting federation that you compete in, you're allowed to deadlift sumo. Unless you're competing in strongman or unless you're competing for the affections of the people online, sumo is totally within the rules. Now, let's talk about the the connotation of cheating rather than the direct, literal meaning of cheating. I think when people say sumo deadlifting is cheating, they're talking about the ability to leverage yourself to the lift that is going to make it easier for you to move more weight. Most people do find that when they switch to a sumo style, they are able to kind of lengthen their arms, they're able to lift with less range of motion. As such, a good lift is easier, quote unquote, because you do not have to move the weight the same distance that you would in a conventional deadlift. And in this case, I think that's very true. Specifically for me, as I've switched back from conventional to sumo, I have found that it is a little bit easier for me to get into a good position. However, the main takeaway here has to be doing things that are going to make you stronger and that are going to be able to express your strength in the way that you want to. I am a huge believer in training both conventional and sumo deadlifting. I think it is impactful to do both. I think it is impactful to try which one works best for you and base which lift you're using on your goals. Are you going into a competition in which you want to out total or out deadlift someone or out deadlift your own personal best? It may be advantageous to you to find the lift style, sumo versus conventional, that is going to give you every last inch of range of motion so that you can achieve those goals. Are you trying to build stronger spinal erectors? Are you trying to build stronger glutes and hamstrings? Then you have to make the choice that way. Are you just trying to lift for Instagram? If so, you better never step up to the bar and take a sumo stance or you will get toasted. All of these things are valid. If that is what you want to do, then that is what you have to do. And just know, if you're deadlifting sumo and you're putting your stuff on Instagram, you're gonna get some flack for it. But at the end of the day, we're not lifting for Instagram, we're lifting for ourselves, or at least hopefully we are. So that's my sumo deadlifting rant, and that was my training on week 3, day 2 of the Calgary Barbell Power Building 2 Phase 2 training. If you haven't seen the first vlog, go ahead and get caught up because next week starts our actual power lifting program, peak into our meat. So we're gonna be getting into the meat and potatoes of what it means to actually peak for a powerlifting meet. Hopefully there's gonna be some valuable information for you guys and you can follow along on my journey. I am getting very, very, very excited to step back on the platform. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you have not already. Get strong and stay strong.